3. True alone at work night shift horror stories. Imagine being alone in a dimly lit office, the hum of fluorescent lights above, the eerie silence broken only by the occasional creak of the building settling. Now picture this. Your phone buzzes with a text message from a coworker who left hours ago. It simply reads, "Who is that behind you?" Welcome to the unnerving world of night shift horror stories, where the boundary between reality and nightmare blurs, and fear becomes your only companion. Story 1. The Haunted Hospital Ward. Our first story takes us to an old, nearly abandoned hospital. Clara, a seasoned nurse, was assigned to the night shift in a secluded ward known for its eerie silence and ghostly rumors. The hospital, built in the early 1900s, had seen countless deaths and was rumored to be haunted by the spirits of those who died within its walls. Clara had always dismissed ghost stories as mere superstitions, but one night, her skepticism was shattered. It was a particularly quiet night, with only a handful of patients in the ward. As Clara made her rounds, she noticed a shadow moving in the corner of her eye. She turned, but no one was there. Dismissing it as fatigue, she continued her work. Around midnight, she heard faint whispers echoing through the empty corridors. She followed the sound, thinking it was one of the patients in need of help. As she reached the end of the hallway, she saw a figure in a hospital gown standing in the corner. When she approached, the figure vanished into thin air. Terrified, Clara ran back to the nurse's station. The next morning, she reported the incident to her colleagues. To her surprise, they revealed that many nurses had experienced similar encounters. They told her about a patient who had died in that very ward years ago, and whose restless spirit was said to haunt the hospital. Determined to understand what she had seen, Clara began researching the history of the hospital. She discovered that the ward she worked in was once the site of a horrific fire that claimed the lives of several patients. Among the victims was a young girl named Emily, whose charred body was never properly laid to rest. Many believed her spirit roamed the halls, seeking closure. One night, Clara decided to confront the spirit. She brought a small toy, similar to the ones Emily was said to have cherished, and placed it in the corner where she had seen the figure. As she whispered a prayer for Emily's soul, the temperature in the room dropped, and Clara felt a cold hand touch her shoulder. She turned around to see the ghostly figure of the young girl, smiling faintly before fading away. Clara never worked the night shift again. The hospital ward remains, a silent witness to the spectral encounters of the night shift nurses. The ghostly figure continues to haunt those who dare to work in its domain. Story 2. The Warehouse Phantom. Our second story revolves around a massive, dimly lit warehouse. Mark, a night security guard, was accustomed to the solitude of his job. Little did he know, his quiet nights would soon be filled with terror. Mark's shift started at 10 p.m., and he would patrol the vast, empty warehouse until dawn. One night, as he was making his rounds, he heard the sound of footsteps echoing through the aisles. He called out, but there was no response. The footsteps continued, leading him deeper into the warehouse. He followed the sound to a section that was rarely used. Suddenly, the footsteps stopped, and the temperature dropped significantly. Mark felt a chill run down his spine as he saw a shadowy figure standing at the end of the aisle. The figure started moving towards him, its footsteps echoing loudly. Mark's flashlight flickered, and in that brief moment of darkness, the figure disappeared. Panic-stricken, Mark ran back to the security office and reviewed the CCTV footage. To his horror, the cameras captured a shadowy figure moving through the aisles, following him closely. The figure had no discernible features, just a dark, menacing presence. Determined to find out more, Mark spoke to some of the older employees who had been with the company for decades. They shared stories of a worker named Jack who had died in a tragic accident years ago. Jack was known for his dedication and was often the last one to leave the warehouse. The accident happened one fateful night when a stack of heavy crates fell on him, crushing him instantly. Some believed that Jack's spirit never left the warehouse, continuing his rounds as he did in life. Mark decided to perform a small ritual to try and communicate with the spirit. He placed a photo of Jack and some of his favorite belongings in the spot where the accident had occurred. As he whispered a few words asking Jack to find peace, the temperature in the room dropped again, and Mark saw the shadowy figure one last time, standing still and then slowly fading away. Mark reported the incident to his supervisor and requested a transfer to the day shift. The warehouse, however, remains operational, and night guards continue to report sightings of the mysterious figure that haunts the aisles. Story 3. The Office Poltergeist. Our final story brings us to a modern office building. Sarah, a young administrative assistant, was tasked with the night shift to finish an urgent project. Little did she know, the quiet office would soon become a place of unexplained terror. Sarah was alone in the office, typing away on her computer. It was around 2 a.m. when strange things started happening. First, the office phone rang, but when she answered, there was only static. She shrugged it off, thinking it was a glitch. Minutes later, she heard the sound of papers rustling and drawers opening and closing. She walked around the office, but found nothing out of place. Returning to her desk, she found a note that she hadn't seen before. It simply read, "Get out." Frightened, Sarah decided to leave. But as she packed her things, the office lights flickered and her computer screen went black. The air grew heavy, and she felt an overwhelming sense of dread. Suddenly, she saw a shadow move across the room, heading straight for her. She grabbed her bag and ran out of the office, not looking back. The next day, she told her boss about the incident. He revealed that the building had a dark history. It was built on the site of a tragic accident, and several workers had reported strange occurrences, especially at night. Determined to find out more, Sarah dug into the building's history. She learned that the office was constructed on the grounds of an old factory where a catastrophic explosion had occurred in the 1950s. The explosion killed several workers, and their remains were never recovered. Some believed that the restless spirits of those workers haunted the new building. Sarah decided to confront the poltergeist. She brought in a medium who specialized in communicating with spirits. The medium conducted a seance in the office, calling upon the spirits to reveal themselves. During the seance, the temperature dropped, and objects began to move on their own. The medium communicated with one of the spirits, a worker named Henry, who had died in the explosion. Henry expressed his anger and sadness at being forgotten and trapped in the office building. The medium performed a cleansing ritual, asking Henry and the other spirits to find peace and move on. After the ritual, the disturbances in the office stopped. Sarah no longer felt the eerie presence and could work late without fear. Sarah never returned to work the night shift. The office, though bustling with activity during the day, remains a place of unease after dark, with the poltergeist rumored to haunt those who dare to stay late. These true alone at work night shift horror stories remind us that sometimes the things that go bump in the night are more than just our imagination. Whether it's a haunted hospital, a phantom in a warehouse, or an office poltergeist, the night shift holds secrets that many wish to forget but can never escape. I hope you like this video. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments section. Subscribe to my channel for more videos, and I will see you in the next one.